Today on Talk About That, John eats a comically big sandwich and makes his own funeral playlist. Meanwhile, we look back at our Christian rock band roots and cringe at our first CD title. Plus a conversation about creativity, authenticity, and why procrastination isn't always what we think it is. Today's episode is not sponsored by Introverts. We're so happy you canceled. It's showtime.
Making waves, taking names. Let's talk about that. I'm John here with Johnny.
What was that again?
Making waves and taking names. I combined two things.
Is that a Baywatch slogan?
I can't. Did you watch Baywatch as a kid?
It kicking butt, taking names?
Yeah, but I didn't want to. You can't say butt on a.
I know. It's really. I've neutered the entire. I'm trying to keep it family friendly.
I don't think you are. That's why I just said.
What's wrong with kicking butt?
I forget what I said now.
Making waves.
Yeah, we're making waves and taking names.
Surf's up, dude.
You know, I have not done a lot of West Coast.
No.
You have.
Well.
Working.
Yeah.
Not really hanging out much, right?
No.
Did you do one out there in San Diego or something?
I've spent a few days out, in California.
Whoa, you don't have to brag about it.
I've been to the Redwood National Forest.
Oh. From
That's
the
pretty
Redwood
cool.
Forest.
That's pretty cool.
To the Gulf Stream waters. This land, Johnny, was made for you and me.
It's your land and my land.
You never hear adults singing that song.
Who sings it?
Kids. That is a prototypical school assembly song.
Yeah.
Like you rarely ever hear a bunch of adults stand up at an event.
It's very idealistic. It's very it's a small world after all.
Yeah.
That's not your land. No one would ever say that if you were on their property. Look, we don't know.
Whose land? This land's my land. Come on.
Whatever.
No, but yeah, you've done some West Coast stuff. But did you ever go surfing when you're out there? Back to the original mocking that you made of me.
I know that I look like I have the body for it, but I am not much of anything that requires a lot of balance. My center of gravity is a little off.
You wouldn't call it low or high.
What are these people doing this stand-up paddle, the SUP boards?
I've done a stand-up paddleboard.
Have you?
You
can do it?
On a lake.
You can do it?
Yeah.
For an extended period of time?
Oh, yeah.
You don't just capsize the thing?
No, paddled across the whole lake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Have you tried one?
No.
That's not as hard as you think.
I think I did one, but it was in the ocean.
Oh.
And so it was a little choppier.
Yeah, that would be harder. I mean, I haven't tried in the ocean. I'm sure I could do that too.
I couldn't. Yeah. Theoretically, I can do whatever I want. I know that's become a big thing. You see those everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know who came up with the stand-up paddle people, but yeah, it's like surfing for people that don't want to surf.
It's kind of like you're on one of those escalator hallways in the middle of the airport that just goes...
Oh, the conveyor belts?
Yeah, just horizontal,
Like you're in a factory that makes lazy people. I love the people that get on there and just don't move. They're just like...
Yeah.
Well,
if you're early for your flight, that's what you do sometimes. What else you got to do?
What do you mean, you ride it like a kid?
You might as well. Give me a Starbucks and let me ride the old conveyor belt.
You tear their ticket. Retain your stub.
But where else in life can you stand unless you're like an X-Man or X-Men? What if they're...
Person?
What if they're singular? It was X-Men, but you never say X-Man.
Yeah.
And what about the females? Why do we never figure out that they can't be the X-Men?
Yeah.
When you have
Storm and Jean Grey.
How did that fly under the radar this whole time?
It's Jean Grey, right?
Yes.
Which she got the worst name of any
superhero.
Yeah, it's just her name.
Yeah.
It's like she's an accountant. Like she's going to sell you a house and then vaporize you accidentally because of some weird...
she was the psychic, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
She
had more powers than everybody.
Right, and her powers were always, threatening to destroy the entire...
Some Marvel nerd right now is freaking out that we're...
Sorry, guys.
We're going to say something wrong, a little bit wrong.
A little bit wrong.
Yeah.
That is a bad name.
But Jean Grey does sound like a Remax agent.
Yeah, they never gave her another name. Did they?
She should be now like Hedzo or whatever, because she's psychic, Psycho.
Hedzo. Sorry,
I don't know.
Wow.
Anyway,
if you're
a big
old man cough,
if you're a big Marvel fan, we apologize. But
Yeah.
Well, I like Marvel.
Speaking of,
yeah,
have you seen Wakanda Forever?
I have not.
Unbelievable.
Really? You liked it?
Yeah, it's very good.
It's kind of sad though, right? Because they have to kind of deal with the Chadwick Boseman's death in it.
Man.
Sorry to be spoiler alert.
In the intro of the movie and at the end.
Right. It's a funeral in the...
no, it's not a funeral.
Oh.
There is a funeral. Yeah, but it's really the way...
John, did you watch the movie?
Guys... It's like the way that they honored both. So like, well, I don't want to spoil it either.
Yeah, I never saw the first one.
But they find a way without acknowledging that this is a fictional story to honor Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, that's cool.
In a way that's like, it's hard to explain.
I want that for this podcast when I die. I want you to move on, but I want there to be some honoring of me.
How long does it have to last? Is it like a...
each episode...
Because this was one movie.
Each episode needs to have like a full length in memoriam. I will remember you. Something like that.
You don't want Go Rest High?
No. Sure.
Yeah. Johnny, you won't have a choice.
That's true.
I'm going to play whatever I want to. I don't know what I want played.
Yeah.
At my funeral. I often think about that. Like, my wife does not like most of the music that I listen to.
So she would play songs that she likes at your funeral? Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like, to make her play the music
first of all, does it need a playlist? Like,
I think it does.
That's really interesting. Like, you think that's an American phenomenon that we got to figure out? Like,
I always have music going in my head from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. And, like, which I think that was a Sting song, wasn't it? What I just said?
Yeah.
Anyway. So
I think that's psychosis.
Is it? Would you say?
Do you always hear music in your head? And is it saying that you're no good? There's one song and it says, "You're no good and not worthy of love." It doesn't really rhyme. You know that one?
I think it's called Headzo by Jean Grey.
Super catchy.
I think if you want to remember me,
yeah,
for the things that I like,
yeah, it should be your choice.
But I'll be punishing everyone else there, except you, maybe.
What kind of corny stuff are you going to have?
She hates like
Cotton Eye Joe. That'd be great. The casket's slowly lowering. Come on, where'd you go?
Yeah, I don't.
People are crying, but also like kind of nodding their head.
Tapping their foot.
Gets in there.
No, I don't know. I just kind of like, again, I like King's Kaleidoscope.
Okay.
Like, she'll hear it, and it's the two records I really like of theirs. A lot of synth, a lot of horns, and it's a lot of very alternative uses of those instruments,
right,
and sounds. And she's just like, to her, it doesn't sound like music.
Right.
To a musician, especially, if you're kind of a music person.
It's like innovative, so it's a little bit like hard to hear the first time. It's one of those records, like, I think my favorite stuff now is stuff that I didn't necessarily like when I first heard it.
Yeah.
It becomes like part of you.
Yeah. But if you just want like music that you don't have to think about, I like music that I have to think about, which is...
Right.
So if I played that, she'll get in the car, she's like, what is this? Like, we haven't got to the words yet. It's just like, some interesting big drum synth loop thing going, and I'm just like, well, I kind of like this, and
then you say to her, "I want this at my funeral," and
then she's like, "No." You
guys have dark conversations.
No, play whatever you want, babe. It's fine.
Really? I think I should have some say.
Really?
Yeah, I want to program your funeral.
Do you want my guitar when I die? That's the question. You're like, you know what? I've had.
Didn't we talk about this? What you would leave me, and you said I would give you my guitar. And did you say your truck too?
I was going to, but now in earlier days I would have, but now I feel like, you know what? There's probably others who could benefit from my truck more than you because,
I don't.
You're a grown, successful guy now.
Are you taking back the truck?
If you need a truck, you can go get one. What if someone else can't do
How much money do you think I have?
Johnny,
I just go buy trucks.
I saw what you ordered at Longhorn. You don't go getting the spicy chicken bites unless you got some serious.
It's literally the cheapest thing on the menu, the spicy chicken bites. By the way, if you go to Longhorn, it's $6.50.
Yeah,
it's a good deal.
Yeah, Longhorn today. We were meeting with our friends Jeffrey and Allie.
Yeah, and you were late.
Okay, I was late,
and we gave you the normal amount of time before we ordered. Like we were like, all right, we'll give him 5 more minutes, and then after a while we were like, okay, he's 15 minutes late.
I was 13 minutes late when I pulled in the parking lot.
We ordered right before you came in. And then we all ate, and then you did not get your food.
It took about 35 minutes to get my food.
It's a funny thing, too, because we're all not occupied with our food when they bring your food, and your food was such a spectacle that it added extra color to it.
Well, one, I wanted to ask the waitress, like, hey, is my food go? Because it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Since I ordered.
You had that pensive look on your face. She cut you off. She was like, it's coming.
It's coming. But she said, sorry it took so long. You know, you were late.
Yeah.
And then
she put it back on
a bunch
you.
of to-go orders came in. As if, like, my arrival time, because the only thing late means is I was behind you guys. Because to her, no one's late or early.
So you think that you should have gotten in front of the to-go orders?
I just mean, like, I wasn't late. I'm a customer that arrived at the restaurant.
I thought it was weird when you said, don't you know who I am? You said, look at me.
Haven't you? And then I pulled a buck out of a bag, and she was like, I've never seen that.
Yeah, you said, where is your... Can I speak with your manager? She said, I am the manager.
the manager, yeah.
Yeah, that's always...
Yeah. So...
I would say that even if I wasn't the manager. If somebody ever said to me, can I speak to your manager? I would just be like, I would hope that would just diffuse the whole thing. And then if they called that bluff, I'm like, I guess I have to quit my job now. I have lied to this person and told them I'm the manager. That was my only move.
Well, when she brought the sandwich... Which normally I get chicken wings, whatever. I'm a little off the wagon.
Listen, by the time you get back on the wagon, the tires are going to bow. When I saw that sandwich, it looked like the thing they put on the Flintstones
You'll be
car.
rocking that mama like a wagon wheel.
It looks like the piece of dinosaur rib that they put on the Flintstones car that tips it over.
And this
was
other
a breaded chicken sandwich.
I tried to order something cheap off the lunch menu.
It made the full-size bun look like a crystal bun.
It did. You could have put another...
It looked like a slider bun.
Another 1 or 2 buns, possibly.
You had to bite 2 or 3 bites of the breaded chicken to get to the
bread.
Bun.
I couldn't get to it. Like, you could have moved the bun around the circumference.
We call that the bun pivot.
Wasn't that a dance move?
Yeah.
The bun pivot.
Yeah, it was after Stanky Leg.
Right. It was, yeah, but like MIT dances. So,
that was and I thought, it made me laugh so hard because I thought, no way John finishes this. I look over 5 minutes later, it's gone.
No.
That sandwich.
I did not finish that
You
sandwich.
inhaled that sandwich.
Okay, first of all, I did not finish it. But the truth
How much was left, John?
Almost the size, about half of a real sandwich.
No, it was like 1 bite
left.
One
bite
John bite, we call it.
You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
The truth is, I would have finished it, but you had all been like, oh my gosh, look at the size of the sandwich. So I made sure I left
Once something's like, oh, there's no way a human being could eat all that. What are you going to do? Unhinge your jaw? And then you're like, you gulp and it's gone. They're like, oh, John's a freak.
So yeah, I made sure I left some.
Yeah.
Guys, the truth is...
You wish now you could go back and...
Oh, yeah, it taunts me. It haunts me. The truth is, there's almost no amount of food that if I really wanted to, I couldn't eat with ease.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're that way, but I could eat whatever I wanted.
Right.
It's not good. Like, although I did go to the doctor, like I said, and they said I'm doing fine.
They gave you the all clear.
They were like, order as many of those chicken sandwiches as you can.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Go out and celebrate.
It was huge. It was like having a steak, like a breaded fried chicken steak.
That's a thing. That's it.
Breaded fried chicken steak?
Chicken fried chicken is like a chicken steak.
Not breaded fried chicken steak, because that's a...
I think that's a made-up thing from a country song that you just wrote. It's one of those songs that's stuck in your head.
I still got that country idea, but
what is it?
Talk to you about it off the air because we're going to write it and present it.
Oh, good.
Record it. Yeah. It's going to take some writing. I don't think it'd be hard to write.
Okay.
But and that's not saying that I'm good at writing country songs. It's going to be a spoof. It's not like it's not a spoof. Sorry. It's a It's just a goof.
It's a genre parody, maybe.
Yeah.
So speaking of song clips, we have joined forces with Life Audio, and they have given us the new protocol for the future podcast. We don't have to use them on this episode necessarily, but maybe it's already going to be put on because they're going to go back and retroactively put these on there. We don't know yet, but this is the sound that John found that you will hear before our podcast begins, which I think just adds a luster and doesn't it make us, it legitimizes us, I think.
I think it does.
You go, oh, I'm going to dig in. This feels right.
And just like all legitimate podcasts, people stop and talk about how legitimate it makes them sound.
Yes.
Just like
which is what we want.
Yeah, so here it is.
Life Audio.
Oh.
You cut it
I
off.
cut it off. Hold on.
Life Audio.
Wow. It's pretty legit, bro.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like it's soothing. It's got synth. It feels.
I think I heard a rain stick behind there. Did you hear a rain stick?
I kind of felt like it was. Remember that Spandau Ballet song? That.
That guitar. Ring, 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 ring. Yeah. Ha, 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 ha. It's got to get up way high.
Are you saying I wasn't?
Johnny, get your keys right.
Mom,
I have perfect pitch.
do you take one ear off?
We should write a story about a guy with perfect pitch who can't sing. Like
He just knows all the notes.
He
He goes,
hears it
That's
all.
a G.
Right.
That's all he knows.
He can't.
Yeah.
He can't do anything with it. No, I'm horrible at music.
Yeah.
I like the new.
I think it's great.
Yeah, you'll be hearing that at the front of all the episodes. So, unless they like drop us now because we've stopped to make fun of the thing.
We're not making fun of it. I think it's fantastic.
Well, sorry. I was making fun of you.
Oh, right.
But you were making fun of the thing. Yeah. That's what we do.
Well, it's kind of like when David Letterman worked for NBC, you know, and he had Late Night with David Letterman, he would make fun of GE. He would call them like corporate pinheads and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a funny little adversarial relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be the playful exchanges we'll have with Life Audio.
Oh, man.
Probably not. We're probably going to get cease and desist emails right off the bat.
They're like, hey, if you know this, but we don't need you.
And we need you to dial it back like 8 notches.
I would love to be needed badly enough that I could just say whatever I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, let's not.
Whatever we do, don't offend John.
I don't want to lose John. No one ever says that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? They're
We're
like,
always chasing it. We're
like,
chasing the ball.
If we lose John, we'll probably find someone
Who
better.
is John?
Can we lose John? Right.
Yeah.
Who is John? But really, though, who is John?
That's
That's
what we're
the
going to talk
question.
about today. We don't have time. We're already almost out of time.
No, we don't have time.
Who is John?
Yeah. We are very excited, though. It's going to be, you are going to hear some ads. And so I was talking to the network this
Already
week about
furious
this,
about this.
that we have literally in every episode a not sponsored by.
Yeah.
And then now we're going to have also
Sponsored
by. And so I think we can have a lot of fun.
It's going to be a
with
little bit of
this.
a whiplash.
They've told us we can keep the not sponsored by.
Oh, that's nice.
So,
So they're okay with a little bit of
that was
that.
going to be a deal breaker.
Oh, you were going
If
to.
Johnny can't keep the not sponsored by, I'm
You don't
out.
understand how unstable he is. He will walk.
He will. Was it Michael Scott says he will cut off his nose to spider face? Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we're excited in Life Audio. They've been great to us so far, but we're young in our relationship with them.
Yeah.
It's like the first date.
yeah.
It's like an audition, really. It's like this whole.
Do you do auditions on your first?
Well, I feel like a
dates?
first date is like an audition. You're kind of like, you're not being your real self.
Right. They haven't seen the real us.
They've not asked us where we'll see ourselves in 5 years, but
No.
because I mean, they saw your medical reports. They saw you eat that chicken sandwich. You're like, let's make it. 3 years?
What do you
What
see
about 3
yourself
years?
in 2.5 years? Yeah. Do you have life insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many meds are you taking?
These are weird questions from a podcast network.
It is strange.
But I was like, this fair. It's
Yeah.
fair. I've seen myself.
Seen myself. Well,
Speaking of health, though, I did go to the dentist today.
and you got a good report.
I got a good report.
Did you get a lollipop? They don't give candy.
Well,
you know, a regular doctor gives you candy when you have a good day.
Dentist
Get a
is like,
sucker.
let's
Well,
counter-
not adults. Adults should still get a sucker. Dang it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're a kid. When does that stop? Pediatrician? Because like you give the kid their
Remember
whatever
Ross Geller
their
never stopped.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You give your kid the whatever, a sticker or whatever, and then they go, yeah, I did good. I remember my guy would have a drawer.
Wow.
You'd go into the drawer and he'd let you pick out.
Oh.
You'd
So,
have like a little ring pop. You'd have a whatever.
like one of those.
I go to the thing as an
Wax
adult.
bottles?
I'm actually paying for the doctor.
Right.
I got to meet my deductible for the year or whatever. I'm already like dreading going.
Yeah.
You know, I got to have some mole looked at to see if it's irregular. I'm nervous about it. And then at the end of it, he just goes, that'll be $800.
Right.
There should at least be, hey, reach into this
Hey,
drawer. I'll make you a balloon animal
Something.
to go with it. Give me something, doc.
I think if you ever go back to medical school, this could be what sets
When
you apart.
I go back.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not
I'm the
necessarily going to
adult.
be good
Well, it's kind of
medical
like
care.
what Patch Adams thought he was going to be, right?
Right.
He wanted to be which that's a real guy. And by the way, I have friends who are doctors, and they all hate that guy.
Really?
Because this idea that, like, let's make medicine fun.
Yeah.
And the other thing was he raised a ton of money and then didn't build the whatever, the Gesundheit Medical Foundation was going to be his Gesundheit Hospital.
Yeah.
Like he didn't build, maybe he did now, but I remember years ago, my doctor friend was like, yeah, we all hate that guy. He just raised a bunch of money on his profile.
Wow.
From being this high profile thing that Robin Williams had played in a movie. And then he's a quack, basically. I was like, that's not. Maybe again, I'm just saying this is my one doctor friend who said this.
No. You're
a Patch Adams person, we apologize. Keep those donations coming. If you feel led.
Surely he built it by now, especially after somebody said something.
Yeah, but my one friend said it.
There's no way to know.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on that guy.
Yeah, I don't. I do
like,
think
should the doctor be more fun? Like, should you come in being all wacky when you give somebody like a infusion?
I will tell you this:
a blood transfusion. They're like, they're all happy, putting on clown noses. Like, that's off-putting to me.
My wife's neurosurgeon, when she had an aneurysm, 22 years ago. He wasn't like a goofy guy at all. And I remember my father-in-law. He wasn't my father-in-law yet. We were just engaged, saying, that's okay. Like, I really don't, like, it struck me at that age, and forever I've thought of it like that. He's like, I don't necessarily need her brain surgeon to have huge personality.
Yeah.
I just need him to be very good at brain surgery.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need him to. So I kind of judge doctors now a little bit more like, do you know what you're doing?
Right.
More than like.
Your bedside manner.
See, even though I'm an introvert.
Bedside manner sounds like an English show on the BBC.
Bedside manner.
Next week on Bedside Manner.
BBC.
Okay.
And we should start a band called BBC. It's like a rap band, but in British accents.
Hold on.
Bro.
No.
Okay. But sometimes I think I'm too friendly with doctors. Like I connect too much.
Yeah.
And occasionally I think I will distract them. Like, and I'll leave and they're like, oh, I forgot to, they
forgot to ask him about this
forgot to write
oozing
me
sore.
that. Yeah.
Right.
The reason I came, like we connected well.
I'm the opposite. I feel like a little kid and I've not done anything they've said since the last time. So I feel like I'm going to get scolded.
Do you like...
And I find myself judging them too, because like if your doctor was like, well, you need to lose about 25 pounds.
Like, so do you.
Yeah, because if you're like, well, look at you, dude.
Right.
But I don't say it.
Johnny, this is just kind of like...
I mean, I say it on the air, but I don't...
I would never say it out loud except in front of millions of people on a podcast.
Yeah.
It's kind of like... I had this talk with someone the other day, like pastors, there's this line of you don't want to hear from a pastor certain things that they don't do themselves.
Yeah.
But the flip side is like the real essence of the pure message of what we're trying to convey cannot be done by a human in its entirety.
So you're going to mess up.
That's why you need Jesus. So it's kind of like, I used to think I could only communicate a message that I, in my mind,
you've conquered that,
was proficient at in that area. Now I'm like, well, if I was proficient in it, then it's an incomplete. It's not enough as it is.
Right. If you can attain it in your humanness.
But there is some line there. Like, I don't hear from someone about, like I told someone today in a meeting on Community, like if someone doesn't live authentically in ministry, I don't care how much they know.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear from them. Like I don't. Like if you're isolated, you
refuse.
Don't
care how much they know until you know how much they care.
Come on, guys.
Is that what you're getting at? I need more slogans is what I need.
Johnny,
I want to base an entire ministry on just slogans.
I spent my first 10 years doing that, basically. So
just
I can tell you.
Just
people don't remember it.
No.
But
they don't remember how much you care or care how much you know.
People don't.
People just don't remember. That's my slogan.
I was writing on some old...
Just do what you want. People won't remember.
I was writing on some Old Glory stuff, and there was someone who... it's actually Walt Whitman. I was quoting Walt Whitman, who was a medic for the Union Army. I don't know if they called it that then, but he was writing to his mother about these like multiple men who had died fighting for this very small regimental flag, like just to recapture it.
Yeah.
And he was like, how can someone die over something so small, just a symbol? Of course, Old Glory is like 11 by 17 feet. So I was making like this sentence, and I found myself, speaking of cliches, like I found myself saying, but for some, I don't think it's going to stay with something like, it's not the size of the flag in the fight.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
the size of the fight and the person who's fighting for
You can stand in front of a flag if it's small, but you stand behind it if I don't know. You drape yourself in it if you get chilly.
If you do not open the door will not open for you.
Yeah.
If you doubt your powers,
You get power to your doubts.
you get power to your doubts.
Everybody knows that. Yeah, I don't think that line should stay.
I don't think it's
you
going to
need
make it in the editing.
I mean, I don't want to try to pretend that I know anything about editing books, but
Well, I don't think we should pretend, but
it shouldn't.
even a fool like you.
It shouldn't make me grit my teeth as you say it.
I was trying No, I knew as I was writing, I was like, ooh, this is, see, Johnny, if I don't have a lot of advice
Yeah.
because I'm not that successful. Not that that's the key to it.
John, I think you're plenty
But
successful.
I've done this, like, again, when you say, oh, you're a successful writer, what that really means is, for me, like, someone let me do it way too many times and sometimes paid me for it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe no one else wanted to. So it's cool. Like, I've done it.
Right.
But, like, what does it mean? I don't know. But I will say this when someone asks me and they're, like, stuck. They're like, I keep stopping and reading over what I wrote. And I was like, hey, one thing I have learned in whatever this is that I've done, writing and editing, two completely different muscles in your brain. Like, you cannot do them both at the same time well. If you're if you're in a creative space, stay in a creative space and just write whatever comes out. And then you can go back and edit later.
Yeah, I think I get stuck in that mode a lot where I'm already editing as I'm writing a joke. I'm already saying, oh, this has been done, or this is too preposterous. And I let myself trick myself into not creating more.
Yeah, you'd be better to write 10 bad jokes a day, and out of 3 days, 1 or 2 come out great, and you have 2 great jokes in 3 days, but you wrote 28 ones you can't use.
Yeah, I read somebody was talking about their writing process, and they said when they're writing a first draft, they think of themselves as just scooping sand into the sandbox, and then later we'll build something with it.
Yeah. That's good.
But you're just scooping ideas in. You're just the matter and the material you're going to use to build the castle.
Yeah.
So, but if you stop and go, I don't know if this castle's is this even enough sand? Like, you're already psyching yourself out of creating.
Yeah. Well, that's what this whiteboard is right here.
Oh, yeah?
It's been up there forever. Yeah. It's all the pieces of what that proposal could be. Slavery, abolition, Reconstruction, the Civil War, quotes from the figure. But again, I don't know what to do with all that. And a lot of that is shifted now, like the sands.
Like so much shifting sand.
Oh, my goodness.
In the sandbox.
And guys, isn't that just like our lives, though?
That's our show.
Yeah. So, make sure you subscribe. Just kidding. That's not our show. We still have a little ways to go.
Although, so you're writing a book that's going to be kind of historical.
Yes.
But you have to do all this extra research.
Yeah.
And then you have to know that, like, okay, I'm going to put a spin on this that's not been put on it before. That's the other thing about history books is so much of it has already been talked about by a million other books.
Yeah, the great thing about what I'm writing is I feel like it's one of those rare moments to have a unique story to tell, that all the elements will be recognized, but no one knows the story.
That's where you're wrong, John. I've Googled. And
you could find it.
No, I'm just kidding.
But no one's written that definitive book about it.
It's like I always tell the story about when people ask about us being in a band together, and I talk about when we kept having to change our band name because there were other band names that were like that. And that was a big deal back then. This was the early days. The internet was barely around then, but we could look up, we could just type in the name. It wasn't even Google yet. It was like
AOL.
Ask Jeeves or whatever. And then it would be like, we were Five Smooth Stones, which a cringier name there never has been, but we were.
Yeah.
And then we found like 8 other Five Smooth Stones for a total of 40 stones. And then, so we changed it before we did our CD.
But we were on a deadline because I think in all the times we changed was always a deadline. So
we had to come up with the name like that
now.
week in the studio and make artwork for it for the CD cover.
Right.
So we chose 11th Hour.
Right.
And
it was some of our best artwork.
And then
because the name of the record was, do you want to tell them about the record?
No, I don't. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It was so bad.
Johnny put, we put 11th Hour in pasta noodles floating in tomato soup.
What year was this? 99?
Yeah, probably
98.
Might have been 8. And then Johnny's like, in one of the pictures, you got like glasses on.
Yeah, and I'm like eating from
like
the
nerded
pasta.
out, making that kind of. It's really the same funny face you make when you do some of your characters now.
It's kind of like isn't this soup delicious?
Yeah. And the name of the album was. You just got to do it. You did it.
I don't want to talk about it.
See, I love it when I did so many cringy things as a writer, but when you do, I actually still like.
Well, here's the thing: we were like funny guys and had all these silly inside jokes, but our music was so serious.
Well, yeah.
That juxtaposition to have a silly cover and a silly name, and then you listen to the music and it's not silly.
We only did one silly song on any of our records.
And so it was odd, but we just thought, oh, this will be so funny and they'll land. We named our record God. And to this day, I don't know why.
I think
we thought it was just the funniest thing ever.
At the time, it was so funny. And it was funny. But the funny thing was going to my grandfather's church to play.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Because his, 3 M's.
He was holding the CD.
He goes, and he loved it. He laughed.
Yeah.
And he was so proud.
Yeah.
And Papa said, we got John's band here tonight, and they have this new CD, and it is so funny. Mama, God.
Mama.
And he said, Mama, God. And I was so honored by my grandfather, and I had a great laugh. Like, it just, so anyway, yeah.
Then there's the ideas we didn't do. Do you remember the one we didn't do for the second CD? It was going to be, this was actually the third one, because it was going to be an EP. That was all we could afford to do. And we had the idea to put our bass player, Brian Finley, in a hoodie, in a basket of a bike, and call it EP Phone Home. And we didn't do that. And
surely it's been done now.
I don't know, but I'm so glad we didn't do it.
Wow.
I'm glad we didn't talk about it.
Right. When our third...
That was the third one because it was we could only afford the 5 songs.
Yeah, but then we changed our band name again.
Right, that's what I always tell people. We changed it to, found a bunch of 11th Hours.
Right.
So we changed it to Scarlet Thread. And then there actually were a bunch of Scarlet Threads. So then we changed our name to Amy Grant. But that was taken too.
We found out, there was another one of those.
So we were like, what about Carmen? And they were like...
No, that's good. Who?
There's a couple of those.
Yeah. I did grow up listening to Carmen.
Of course. Doing human videos?
Yeah, I was the devil in all the plays. And
wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
Did you have the little thing that made your voice go, or did you do it naturally? You did a...
Well, there was no voice. We were doing the video. We were doing a human
video.
You
played but you were doing act outs.
Like, what was the
I'm thinking of...
The Champion.
I'm thinking of Judgment Houses.
Yeah.
When people put the thing on their voice that makes them sound like the devil.
We did a Judgment House at my youth group one year. I can't. Yeah. Judgment Houses are such a 90s, early 2000s anomaly of weirdness.
It is a time capsule of evangelicalism.
Like, I'm not I want to say this. I'm not what people would think of as hold together the sacred parts of church history and culture, But now looking back, even myself, I'm going, we probably should have been chasing people with a chainsaw inside the 4 walls of the church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where it got.
That might have been
I'm not sure.
There was a meeting had about that, and they went, yeah.
Right. Someone said
that will get people saved.
Yeah, use as much fake blood and strobe lights and chainsaws.
I just remember the Judgment House or the Kingdom, whatever you call it. What's the other name for them? Judgment House? I can't remember. There's all these different names for them. But we did one at a church that we were youth leaders at, and our buddy came who was not a Christian. He was dating somebody who was. They kind of come to this. It'll be fun. And he was a middle-aged guy. And I remember 4 or 5 of the scenes were car accidents. You hear, and then they wake up in heaven or hell or whatever. And then at the end, we're walking out, and they go what did you think, Matt? And he was just like, Christians can't drive. I just remember, I got so tickled at it. The message of that play was Christians cannot drive.
Wow, this is a day for cringy things. Just because, we didn't put that on.
Yeah.
Now, as a kid, I did. My youth group, we put one on.
Yeah.
I think I grew out of that pretty fast when I became we never did it when I was a youth pastor, but
yeah.
I don't know.
But you were acting out as did you have an elevated sense of yourself when you played the devil? Did you get stilts on, or what did you do to be the devil? Because to me, when I look at you, I think you nailed it.
Not doing
That-
anything. Yeah.
No.
Don't change
even,
a thing.
Don't even listen.
The
Horns that you have are a bit much. Can we file them down some?
I remember that in the Champion, I would always take a big, like, actual dive off the side of the stage at the end when Jesus won.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like, I would do like this full, like, I would just flail about because I was invincible. Hit the concrete floor, it doesn't hurt. Remember those days?
Because you're the devil getting knocked out.
I was trying to get out of the dentist chair today, and it took a lot of time.
Yeah.
She had me down real low. I was like, I was like,
Make a noise.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Can't even.
Like you're climbing out of
And
a
I was
well.
kind of upset with her for it. Like, hey, lady, do we have to put me down so low? You know,
Yeah.
that's a guy who's in the second third of his life. The beginning
if you're lucky.
with the first half of the second third. So I have a long way to go before I even get halfway through the second third. Because if you live to be 90,
It's your second act.
if you live to be 90, then
You're in
like
the play.
55 is like the beginning, the halfway through the second third. I mean, think about that. Mm-hmm. You're not even to the third yet. Anyway.
There used to be this comedian I worked with, and he talked about being in his, I think he was in his 50s or 60s, and he was doing like a set in front of us. It was a comedy competition, but he was a veteran comic, had been doing comedy for years and years. And one of the jokes he did that I remember is he was talking about men in your later life. He said, just so you know, guys, it's going to be a low-scoring second half. I just thought that was such a funny way. I never heard it put quite that way. It was really funny to me.
Wow.
And yeah, I hope he's wrong. We'll see.
Yeah, I still have. Do you have visions of you being like this super fit 60-year-old, 65-year-old? I do. Like I'm the guy. I'm that guy you see.
You want to try to get in shape I'm going to get in shape one last time.
No, I think I get in shape and stay that
stay
way
in shape.
all the way to the end.
Wow.
See, I know I won't,
No.
but I could. Maybe I will. Probably won't.
Your history tells me.
Well, that's the point. I always think that's the sorry, Enneagram non-enthusiast. That's the 7 wing in me who always feels like, yeah, there's an adventure ahead though, where I'll do better. Like
I definitely have that in me where I think there is some better version of me that I have a lot more faith in. So if I was to book, let's say I book a thing and they go, well, it's 2024, but they want a new hour of material. Like if I tell you now, that's not enough time probably to come up with a brand new hour of like really polished material.
Yeah.
You know. But in my head, I would be like,
Sure.
yeah,
There's plenty of time.
I'll have that's a year to get my life together and like workshop a whole.
See, it's
like,
a
of
gift
course.
to me. Give me that time. Give me that deadline. Now I will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
Now,
about
I
it.
definitely I've crafted some things because I had a deadline for sure, but I do think I think that about procrastination is like, am I a procrastinator or do I really believe in my future self that much? In my ability to like rally.
Yeah.
You know, because I would wait till the night before to do the paper. Is that because I think like, I got this, or is it because I would rather watch
That's
TV?
interesting because I just read that in a book somewhere that a lot of people think what they're doing is procrastination, but what it actually is they, it's almost word for what you said, they don't yet believe enough in their ability to do that.
Yeah.
And so they would prefer not to fail.
Yeah.
So that's not procrastination. That is they're not
It's
convinced.
like a protective.
It's a protective thing, and sometimes it might even be wise. Like, I know for me, there's certain things that I know if it can't be accomplished. Like someone told me this year when I was doing a bunch of platform building stuff, you got to do a weekly newsletter, weekly blog. I mean, and from the outside, since what I do is right, that seems like
Yeah. Right in your wheelhouse.
okay, that's right, my wheelhouse.
You're writing anyway. Just put a snippet of it out every week.
But I did a weekly blog. You may not remember this back when I moved here, and even when Sadie was first born, I wrote for like 2 years straight weeklies. I know what it's like to write that. And at this stage of my life, I never could figure out why. I was like, why do I never start this? I can't. I even wrote on my to-do list for the week, write your first whatever blog, for this week. Never could do it. I don't think it's procrastination. I think something inside would never give me the green flag for it. Like nope, we can't do this. Like, we've done
Like
this.
to sustain it.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to, you could do it, but you're not going to be able to do it every week like they want you to for the next indefinite amount of time.
And who are they, John?
Johnny, That's a great question.
The unseen critics and haters.
I have enough unseen critics on the inside.
But to your point about like procrastination, and I did read this and it made sense to me. People overestimate what they can do in a week and they underestimate what they can do in a year. So like, if it gets to be like it's 2 weeks before the beach trip, you're like, I need to lose 30 pounds. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're not going to. It's 2 weeks. But you can lose 30 pounds in a year easily if you just change a few things around. But you don't think of it that way. You just go, you're more likely to just wait until.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you make little changes, like a year to a year is a gigantic amount of time to work on something. But we always go,
Yeah.
we want the immediate.
I tend to do that again.
But you're way more balanced than I am.
It's not that.
You're well adjusted.
I think prose writing, the only way to write a large project is in small chunks. I like to rattle off big weeks of it or whatever, but if you give yourself more time.
How do you make an elephant statue, John? You cut away everything that's not an elephant.
Oh, isn't it? How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time or something like that.
You cut away one bite.
You eat how do you eat that chicken sandwich? That's
how
what I
did you
want to
know? The person who held the tail thought it was a snake.
Right.
And the person who held the feet thought it was a pillar. And then the third person ate the trunk. Is that what it was? Mm-hmm. I can't.
Yeah.
What'd you say about a chicken sandwich?
Yes, John, you can have another chicken sandwich after we're done. Good grief, man.
It was enormous, man. I tell you what.
It was a whole chicken. It's one of those ones where if you set that down and you tried to tell me, no, there's no hormones in our chicken, I'm going to call you a liar. That chicken was tipping over.
On steroids.
Yeah,
right?
that chicken was tipping over. Could not stand on its legs before they killed it.
Right. And now I can't stand on my legs because I ate it.
Man,
and guys,
cause and effect.
Isn't it such a truth?
Isn't it just like our chickens?
We are the chickens we eat.
And from our head down to our feet.
It's not the size of the man and it's not the size of the chicken on the plate.
Yes.
It's the size of the plate.
I think it was Winston Churchill who said, no, he didn't say. By the way, we do have a segment that I want to bring back. We're not going to edit in the music, John. It's fine.
No, I can do it.
John has music and we'll figure it out. But it's This Week in History. We've been doing it and then we stopped doing it. And some people actually liked it. And so, and I'm one of those people. And I'm part of the show, so we're bringing it back. So, This Week in History, John. Oh, you're doing it? This is so many edits for Jeffrey.
There you go.
Look at that, John. You did it.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark Twain was born, 1835. He died age 74. I did not know
Was
that.
his middle name Tilden? Samuel Tilden Clemens?
It does not say. It just says Mark Twain.
Or was it just...
I think you...
Why do I remember that?
Tilden?
I don't think that's right. There's no way to know. All right, Mark Twain was born.
In 2007, American motorcycle daredevil, that's a tough one. American motorcycle daredevil, Evel Knievel, who was known for his death-defying stunts, which included a spectacular jump over the fountains at Caesar's Palace Hotel in Las Vegas in 1960, died at the age of 69. He died young, too.
Who is this?
Evel Knievel.
Oh. By the way, it was Samuel Langhorne Clemens. Samuel Tilden, ran in the
not
morning
Longhorn?
elections.
Langhorne or Longhorn?
Langhorne.
Okay.
Langhorne. He made a good change.
Where'd you get Tilden?
Samuel Tilden was a politician who ran against Rutherford B. Hayes, I think, in the election of 1876, because it was like a hung election, and that's when they ended Reconstruction in the South. I think was that Samuel Tilden? Oh, there's no way to know.
So we had contested elections even back then?
Well, that's one of Samuel Tilden, election of 1876. Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, we did. That's one of the reasons I'm writing this book. So,
American singer-songwriter Michael Jackson released Thriller 1982 this week.
Wow.
That's a big one.
My daughter and I were talking about Michael Jackson last night on the way to volleyball. A lot of discussions about Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
His legacy.
About separating art from artist.
Correct.
Was it more of that stuff?
Well, she struggles because, there was some weirdness, and yet the music's so good. So can we enjoy the music, like you said? But then do you not believe the weirdness because it's not proven?
Yeah.
Or is it just, when someone's so big? I
You don't
know.
want to believe it because the art is so good. You're
Well-
like, I don't want to believe this person's a creep.
Well, I said if nothing else, we can say this may be the example of someone being too big for accountability, that regardless of what happened
Yeah.
or didn't happen, he should have had enough trusted voices in his life that someone would go, hey, bro,
Yeah.
creating this, like, basically amusement park at your own house where you invite young boys over unattended by their parents. That's a bad idea. Even if you have nothing,
Right.
you have nothing
You need-
bad at heart that you want to happen.
Yeah.
That's not a good look or a wise move for you
Yeah.
to make. So, so we at least had that little talk about what was.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But Thriller, man, she likes, she listens, if she's going to listen to Michael Jackson, the go-to is,
Bad.
no.
Dirty Diana. Smooth Criminal?
Smooth Criminal, yeah.
Okay.
That's hers. I'm like,
That's from the Bad record.
that's
but
the
yeah.
one? I mean, like, I would go, if I have my go-to Michael Jackson song, what's yours?
Want to be starting something?
Huh?
Want to be starting something?
Is that-
Human Nature, maybe? It's got us in the...
Black and White for me.
Really?
I love the guitar line. Always have since I was a kid. No?
Macaulay Culkin cameo in that video?
Yeah. Although, yeah. I'm not going to comment. Now that I listen to the messaging of the song differently than I used to. But
Interesting.
interesting indeed.
You see it as not so black and white now?
Oh, come on now.
Available at fine wherever you
Bookstores.
get published
Guys,
materials.
today, for every download of Michael Jackson's Black and White, I will send you a free... I'm just kidding. Okay. Next in history.
British statesman, orator, and author Sir Winston Churchill, who rallied the British people during World War II and led his country from the brink of defeat to victory, was born in Oxfordshire, England.
Wow.
This week in history. 1874.
Wow.
Yeah. That guy could squint like a son of a gun. He had that one eye that would just kind of...
Did he...
He looked like you could put a monocle in there and he could just crush that thing. That one eye just... He had it was a stern look he had.
Old crushing monocle, they called him.
Yeah. He's a very stern looking person.
I'm always fascinated by the number of actors that play Winston Churchill. It's because Gary Oldman has.
But that's it. That's the list.
No. Okay, who's the guy from Third Rock from the Sun? John
Lithgow.
Lithgow. I said Lithgow. What do you say?
John Lith. Yeah, sure.
Well, it's a very interesting character for him since he's not even British.
Right. But he's pretty great. He can do
Yeah,
whatever he
he
wants.
did great.
Did he put on the fat suit? What happened?
I don't know.
Or did he gain weight?
Our friend Roy's a professional Santa, and
I just saw the photo on social media where he shaves his eyebrows off and his hair to wear all the accoutrement.
but he was saying yesterday, because I was eating badly in the staff meeting,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, we don't all get to try to be Santa every
It's true.
year.
He can just let it go.
And he was like, actually, it's harder for me to put on the weight than you think. I was like, it wouldn't be hard for me, but I'm telling you right now, I just go to Longhorn and get
But
the
yeah,
chicken
he has to
sandwich.
put on the white eyebrows. So
Yeah.
he shaves his. I didn't know this. He shaves his eyebrows for that season. He looks like a seal. He's just got no.
I don't think my eyebrows would come
He
back.
can't make expressions.
Well, you still have brows, just not with hair on them.
He's just kind of womp womp. He just
Like a seal.
He is. He's all smooth.
I told you I swam with a sea lion, right?
And that's in the seal family, or no?
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Are they
Like,
related?
One has
They
ears.
cousins?
One has ears and one doesn't, I think.
There's no ears.
Well, one has like holes instead of ears, and one has like little ears that stick up
Do your impression of it again.
like this. Is there anything else in history?
It's like the sea lion was here. It's beautiful. Hold on. Pink Floyd released their 11th studio album, The Wall. It's a pretty big one. You didn't know about this, but Finland, after they refused the Soviet Union a naval base and other concessions in the fall of 1939, Soviet troops, about 1 million of them, invaded Finland on several fronts, initiating the Russo-Finnish War.
Yeah, because there was another famous war that started around that time. Mm-hmm. So I was a little.
You thought it was World War One.
Well, I knew that's not. No, two. I'm not. I knew
World
that,
War Two.
I knew that's not how World War II started as we know
Well, it didn't help.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Sorry if it's not a big enough conflict for you. It's only a million people
Yeah.
invading a sovereign nation.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that old thing? That's just a police state where I come from. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Sorry to all of our Finnish.
And our,
Speaking of Finnish,
yeah.
you got more, don't you?
No, I'm looking. Yeah, Charles the 12th, King of Sweden, was killed during a siege of the fortress of Fredrikstad,
Ooh,
east of Oslo Fjord.
wow.
I like that when they put that J in there and you got to say fjord.
Yeah.
Ending Sweden's age of greatness. The age of greatness ended with his death. That's what they're saying.
You know what?
Charles the 12th was.
That's a good compliment, though. If
That's what. That's
age
what. I
of-
want.
Yeah.
The age of greatness of this podcast would end at which of our deaths? Do you think? If I was killed in a fjord, like an F-150, if I was hit by a fjord, would you say, man, the show was the age
I
of
just
greatness?
made a commercial in my head.
The age of greatness. I was thinking about that the other day about
2022 Fjord F-150.
I was thinking about
driving through a river.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day about a product, but it's like a Christian version of the baby thing in the front, and call it a Bjorn again. It's like a baby Bjorn again, but it's got like a Christian message on it for people. I see. What's funny is we laugh. We could sell those.
Oh, we could sell them right now.
People would buy those.
Guys,
What do you got there? Oh, it's my Bjorn again.
Bjorn again. What's the message, though?
I don't know. It was just I don't know. Trying to think of something that's not completely
Call
sacrilege.
now and behold.
Right. We will send you a comforter
There you go.
if your baby gets too chilly.
What tag was that to? What joke?
Oh, it was something I did in the early days of my stand-up show when I would put all these slides of things I bought on like Christian websites, like the Armor of God PJs
Yeah.
was one of them. So it was these kids in these Armor of God like fluffy,
Yeah.
and it had a little shield pillow, and
Yeah.
I said, no, I remember when I called, the guy said, behold, we will also send you a comforter.
Yeah.
But and then I would do whatever testaments. We'd talk about testaments, and I would say I made my own product, and I would show like Thy Kingdom gum,
Yeah.
and then Jeffrey had made like a Photoshop pack of a gum that said Thy Kingdom gum, and then I said, what would Jesus chew? It got real.
Yeah. Your breath is ungodly.
When your breath is ungodly,
Yeah.
Thy Kingdom gum.
I still stand by it.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't have a career based off of it.
it was the early days of the show. There were a lot of like sight gags and a lot of like slides.
It's like,
You had
God,
to hit the button at the right time.
you got to let things be in your. Listen, you should give the younger Johnny a break.
Okay.
I liked that guy.
Thank you, John.
Let him be who he was.
He needed to crawl so that regular Johnny could waddle. Yeah.
Yeah. He needed to lay there so that regular Johnny can crawl. Yeah. It's wait.
Have I soiled myself in your vision? He needed to just lay there. Jeez.
You know, listener, and we hope that you've been just laying there enjoying this podcast today.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're driving, don't lay down.
Don't.
It's bad.
Please keep your eyes on the road. 10 and 2, everybody.
Yeah,
Do people still teach that 10 and 2 thing?
I don't know.
Is that the safest way to drive still?
With a lot of digital clocks these days, who can tell?
That's true. How do you teach 10 and 2
You know
to
what I'm
kids who
saying?
they didn't grow up with clocks?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Someone says, I got your 6. They have no idea.
Yeah,
you're
what is
talking
that?
about. Right. But you know what? We do have an idea what we wanted to do today, and that was to talk about many things of value and worth, and to share with you that if you enjoyed this conversation, you could enjoy so many others.
Talkaboutthatpodcast.com, where all the archived episodes live. It's like a little hub for them. It's their home.
Yeah, also known as a web page.
Go to their home.
Go to your home.
Make it your homepage.
Oh,
That's weird.
that's
ask.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be weird. You just
We should start selling email addresses, like your name at talkaboutthatpodcast.com.
that would be good.
Yeah.
You can have your own
You can
email
put it on your business card.
and then we wouldn't look in on your email. We're not going to
No,
snoop.
we wouldn't steal your information.
But it's a
at
way
all.
you can give that email. You know, sometimes people have an email just for spam.
Yeah.
Like when they're going to join a whatever, they
Yeah.
go, I don't want to get spammed by this, but they give them a fake.
I like it.
We could be that.
We could do that for you.
Yeah. Chaz at Talk About That Podcast.
We'll give you like up to 15 gig or something on our server.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That feels like the right amount.
Until it fills up with junk mail.
Yes. But anyway, you can listen to archived episodes and also kick in a few shekels if you feel like it on our Patreon page.
Yes.
That'd be nice. And look, this thing ain't free.
And
I mean, it
really,
is free, but
it's free
it's
for
not
you.
free for us
to
make it.
It actually does cost us money.
We took time out of our day. John stopped eating chicken for almost 45 minutes. He will immediately return to the chicken like a dog to its vomit. That's a proverb.
It is a proverb. We're quoting scripture.
And then, but in between, we like to make things, and making things sometimes takes time and effort. And we appreciate all of you out there who help with that. And if you don't help, look, that's fine. If you want to keep on just listening, hey, that's great too. We love you.
If your parents didn't teach you, to contribute whenever you're.
I took it way too far.
Oh, sorry.
You're being hateful to people now. Also, Amazon.com is where you can find John Driver's latest book projects.
Yeah.
And leave a review, leave a rating, do all that stuff. It helps people find the books.
Yeah.
My social media, blah, 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 JohnnyW.com, JONNI. You can find new tour dates coming out, bunch of dates coming out in the spring and the rest of this winter.
Johnny.
I would love to see you at a show.
Oh,
Some of you
so
guys
great.
listen to the show. I've had more people recently come up to me and say that they're podcast listeners, and that's why they came to my stand-up show, which is kind of a cool.
It's huge.
That's a fun little reversal that's happening.
My residuals are where?
You get nothing.
Okay. That seems fair.
It is fair.
You should actually check out Johnny's Linktree as well. It has all the stuff that you want. So Linktree/Johnny, JONNIEW.
Yeah.
Or my Linktree, John Driver, JOHN Driver. You can check that out. And we're going to see probably by sometime in December, we'll make the jump over to live audio. As you heard the
You hear the little jingle?
beautiful jingle today. I don't know if they called it jingle. They had a name for it.
It's a bumper? A header?
Bumper. They had a name. It's in an email, but I can't.
Been watching too much World Cup. Bumper, header, handball.
I don't.
That's not a thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so that's coming out. I'm excited for that. So guys, thank you for the time you gave us this week, and we'll look forward to doing it again next week on
Talk About That.